Hi everybody, Carissa here with Inky Fairy Designs. For Jamie Dougherty Bloom Girls today, we're going to create this beautiful mixed media canvas using one of Jamie's stamps and two of her stencils, along with some other things that I have in my stash. So I'm starting with my canvas, which is actually a board, a wood board, so it doesn't have any canvas stretched over it. And it's a canvas that I had started several or like two projects on it before that I just really didn't like. And so I covered it with gesso. I added some tissue paper with text on it, so that's what you see, the text there. And then I added some color on it, and I did that before I decided, okay, I'm going to go ahead and start filming this for my project this month. So this stencil is called the Sweet Pea stencil, and I have the item number on the screen for you there. So I used that to create some more background, and I painted a little bit more on it, some more leaves, and I also am adding some of that darker green around the edges of the canvas just to tie in that color. And then something that I didn't record, which you'll see here, is I use the second part of the stencil to get the inside area of the flowers, and I just used some golden white, titanium white I think it is, and stenciled that in, and then did a little bit of an outline with my paintbrush. So that's kind of what you're seeing there. I took some background stamps out, so I wanted to go ahead and start building more on my background before I add my image, my stamped image. So I'm just using some Stays On inks. I'm using some in black and I'm using some in smoky sky to add texture around my canvas. I'm also using some of the Stays On glaze in smoky sky and a roller stamp, and just adding some more stamped texture to my background. So now I'm going to take some Creative Medium by Imagine Crafts, and I'm going to attach my image, which I already colored in a kind of like a black and white look with my Copic markers. And the stamp is called Instachick, and I have the item number there on the screen for you as well. So I'm attaching her with some Imagine Crafts Creative Medium. This is a gel medium, so any type of gel medium would work when you are attaching an image. I find that I love coloring, and I have started to take some of my colored images, and rather than put them on stamps, I'm adding them to mixed media canvases. The Copics don't bleed. I've used different types of gel mediums. I've never had any issues with it bleeding, so it's a great way to use your beautifully colored images in a different way on some mixed media journal pages or like a mixed media canvas that I'm doing today. So now I'm going to take some more stencils, and I'm going to go ahead and incorporate that teal, and I am taking some titanium white and mixing it in with the teal and just randomly placing the stencil around my image. You'll see that I kind of do mostly, for the most part, a placement of 3. There I did 4, so forget that, but I do like a 3. Like, I'll try to angle it, and I try to work in 3s because that helps me to just create interest in and draw the eye in, and working in that mindset, I've seen and learned that that's a really good way to go. So now this is the part where I'll be honest, I'm not happy with what I did here. I was actually trying to take these Faber-Castell artist pens and draw out my image, or kind of not draw it out, but just blend it into my canvas some more, so that it doesn't look like I just placed the stamped image on top. I wanted to really blend it in. I used the yellow because I was trying to tie in the yellow of the flowers of what you saw me do in the very beginning on my background, but it just was too much. So now I'm trying to blend that or darken it up with some black. I was just like, I don't like it. I'm going to use black. So I'm going in with some black, And it helped a little bit, but I'm still not entirely happy with it. But I'm going around the edges and framing that out with the black. Now, this is a fun product. This is a Pico embellisher by Imagine Crafts. It's an irresistible Pico embellisher. It's in white. And I love to just add doodles on my canvases or my art journal pages with it. And I also added some white embellishment. It's like the Irresistible by Imagine Crafts. I sprayed some of that, and I'm adding some gold ink swatches as well. And you can see whenever I'm spraying or adding some ink, I like to cover up the main face of my image. I don't mind if it gets in her hair or on the outskirts or anything like that, but I don't really want to get it on her face. So I use a paper and just kind of cover that up to protect it. Now I'm using another stamp by Jamie, and this is called the Lotus, or not stamp, a stencil. And that's called the Lotus stencil. And I used some whipped spackle and put that on the stamp just to give some more dimension and texture around my image, and I'm really happy with it at that point. You can see I'm giving you a thumbs up. I think that white just really tied it all together and blended everything, and it really looks like everything is embedded in this canvas the way I want it to. So you can see that outline. I added some white just to kind of mute it a little bit more, and I was pretty happy with it. So now I'm going to add some embellishments. This stamp actually comes with lots of flowers and pretty things in her hair, and you can see that really light gray area. That's kind of where that would have been, but I knew I was going to cover it up. So I didn't take the time to do the coloring because I was using a no-line technique, and it's very time consuming, and I knew I was just going to cover it up. So I just grayed it all out so it wouldn't be stark white as I added my layers on top. So I pulled out a bunch of Prima embellishments. I love that light bulb. It says believe, and that is really the inspiration behind this whole canvas coming together. I was on the phone with a friend of mine, and we were talking, and I was admitting my insecurities in my art and how I kind of get in my head and just, I don't believe in myself, to be honest. So I saw that light bulb, and it was a light bulb moment, and I was like, okay, I'm going to make this canvas. I'm going to say it's going to be named Believe in myself. I used a lot of techniques on it that I've learned over the years, and a lot of new techniques that I've, playing around with different mediums that I have in my stash that I don't use. So this is what this canvas is all about to me. It's just experimenting. It's using the things that you've learned and not being afraid to put them in action. And I hope that by sharing this video with you, that it will help you as well to not be afraid to make pretty things and to not be afraid to make mistakes. And sometimes, like that yellow around the face, that wasn't so pretty at first, but I kept working at it, and in the end, I love the way that this canvas turned out. So I'm using some Helmar 450 Quick Dry. I love this glue to adhere heavy embellishments like this to my canvases. I know it's going to stick. I know it's going to stay. So that's what I'm using to adhere all of these flowers and thick embellishments, the button and the light bulb. And now I'm adding some Stays On Studio Glaze to the middle of those flowers that just seemed a little empty. And I'm taking some chunky glitter and putting that inside. And I'm finished. I really love how this canvas turned out. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so that I know and YouTube knows that you enjoy what I'm putting out there for you. Here's some close-ups. I hope you do enjoy this. I hope you give it a try and get out your stamps and do some mixed media and fun things incorporating all of these elements. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you next time.